Hey, we're about a mile and a half into the last 20-mile run of the training block. So this is the only little part that's snow covered, I hope. Just gonna go track the trail line. Anyway, it's kind of the culmination of the hard parts of the training block, and then we're gonna taper. We'll talk more about that once we get back home, but for now, let's just enjoy this run. Hey, checking in, 10 down, 10 to go, feel pretty good. 2 gels in, 10 gels every 4 miles, similar to the marathon plan. So, yeah, 10 more to go. We can officially celebrate digging the taper. Let's get back home, let's do it. Today's run was 20.02 miles. Don't shortchange me on those 200s. At 8 minutes and 1 second per mile. Hey, my name's Andy Hahn. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. As you know, this is basically kind of like a running vlog channel. It's more like my personal, whatever I want it to be channel. Right now it's running. And as you know, it's specifically the Austin Marathon. And check this out. We have the Austin Marathon website, the countdown. I don't know if you can see, it says 2 weeks, 6 days, and quite a few hours. That means we are officially under 3 weeks from the Austin Marathon. 3 weeks from today, although I'm filming this at like 1:30. 3 weeks from this morning, right? It's either 7 or 8 a.m. I don't remember when the start time is. We will be towing the line, waiting for the gun to go off in Austin, Texas, to throw down over 26.2 miles, and I'm very excited about it, and today's run is a big reason why I'm very excited about it. That's the exact type of run that I was hoping for today, right? Right at 8 minutes per mile. Heart rate, the average heart rate was in like the mid to low 150s. There's some hills. Of course, that elevates the heart rate, but like good heart rate zone for what I'm going for. Good pace compared to the heart rate zone. And it was just like such a breath of fresh air, because I'm like a broken record at this point in time, but we've talked about like how hard it is to get what feels like solid training in the winter in a place like Chicago, or even somewhere further north than Chicago. Or right now, weirdly, like Iowa has been like might as well be Antarctica, because like they've been constantly like 10 to 20 degrees colder in Chicago right now, just the middle of Iowa, right? Like Dubuque, Des Moines. So anyone watching from Iowa, I feel your pain. Like the other day it was like -3 degrees here in Chicago, but it was like -18 in Iowa. That's crazy. But anyway, for those of us in cold weather climates, it can be hard, right? We've talked about this before, but like the gear is restrictive and heavy. The air is cold. That's hard on your body to warm up. Like there's some studies out there, and I really need to like refresh my own knowledge base before I like really do a video or spout off about it like it's the truth. But if I remember correctly, it's a big if, I think like the optimal running temperature, if I remember, for most people, it's like low 50 degrees, right? And so anything higher than that, particularly once you get like to the high 60s and into the 70s and beyond, your body burns a lot of energy. It takes a lot to cool yourself down while you're running. Now your body successfully does that, right? The body is amazing at keeping your core temperature in a good range, but it affects performance, right? Because you have to take the energy, your body takes the energy from your stores to cool yourself down, as opposed to like creating propulsion forward with your legs. anything below like the low 50s, and your body has to burn more energy than would be optimal to keep it warm. And so when you're talking about like this morning's run, when I went out, it was like 10 or 11 degrees, I think. It was close to that, and the wind chill was like 0 or 1 degrees Fahrenheit. So another cold day. Granted, it did warm up to like mid to low 20s, like 23, 24 degrees, and wind chill in like the mid-teens, like 15, 16, 17 degrees by the end of the run, but still cold, right? So it's hard to run in the cold because the gear is restrictive, it's heavy, because your body's burning a bunch of energy to regulate its temperature. Also, most of the time you have to keep your face covered because you don't want to get like frostbite if you're out there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, that sort of stuff. And just creating that barrier to breathe through is difficult, right? It restricts the flow of air into your lungs. And then for me, this is like another thing, just because I don't like pulling the mask down. I don't drink as much water as I should during the run to stay hydrated, and that also negatively affects, whichever word, performance. So all those things kind of conspire together to make it difficult to get good tempo runs, to get good pace, to get threshold, to get the VO2 max runs, and to get really long runs at a good like heart rate versus pace mix done to get those accomplished, because there's all these other demands on your body that are happening when it's this cold. But today, even with the cold weather, we were able to pop off a pretty good heart rate versus pace mix. And so I'm very excited about this run. It was the fourth of 4 20-mile runs in the block, so we've successfully completed those 4 runs through January, so that was good. This was like exactly what I was looking for. It's like 60 seconds slower, 45 to 60 seconds slower than target marathon pace. And the good news is like if the average heart rate's in like the low 150s, like the marathon heart rate zone, like optimal zone, at least I think for me, as I'm calculating, is like in the mid 160s, like 160, we'll say 164 to like 167. So I have 10 beats of range to pull down that like 45 to 60 seconds, and I think that that's about perfect. Also, like as we get towards the marathon, there's like, we're officially in the taper, and so the taper helps bring that pace versus effort back into your body, because, you know, I'm also a broken record here, but I'm coming off of, well, this last week was like 65-ish miles. I haven't exactly added up. I think it was around 65. Prior to this week, the first 3 weeks in January, it was like 73, 75 plus, and then like another 72 miles. And those were the first time I've ever gone back to back to back at that high of mileage. And I've never gone beyond 75 like I did. And so just kind of the cumulative wear and tear on the body just like also drags down performance, right? It's good because it's good training, you're pushing yourself, that's all good. But even just this week, where it was like 65 miles, and it was like roughly 65, it was like 10 miles less than the peak, you just feel better. You feel like more pop in the legs. You feel your cardio system working better. It just, like, this is the type of run that gets me excited to toe the line in Austin, because, you know, I've only run one marathon before, 3:23:32. Kind of funny how those numbers worked out in Chicago. I'm hoping for like, I mean, if the day is perfect, the weather's right, I feel good, I nail the taper, I'm hoping for like just under 3 hours and 10 minutes. But, you know, really anything under 3:15, I'd be ecstatic. Anything under like my PR, I'd say like a goal is like, I haven't exactly formalized these, but what I'm thinking in my head is like a goal is going to be like 3:15 or better, with like an A+ goal of like 3:10 or better. B goal is anything under my PR, and C goal, I mean, it's a marathon, right? Just finish. Anytime you finish a marathon, that's like an accomplishment unto itself. But anyways, I'm excited right now, right? Because today's run really gets me fired up because of how it went. So, the quick recap of the run. So I'm in a place called Westchester, Illinois, and it's the BNSF Metro line. I basically run down to the Metro line, and then I just like follow that as far west as I need to, right? So I got all the way down, I think, to Westmont today. It's pretty good. I'll put it up on a map like Westchester. I'll put my route up. Westchester, down on the range, out to Westmont and back. So it was a good time. So I'm kind of talking quick, but I'm trying to get this recorded because the Chiefs play in less than 30 minutes in the conference championship game, and the United States plays Jamaica in Hamilton, Canada, in World Cup qualifying. So I want to get back out there. I want to get this video done, get it off the camera, get back out there in time to watch those things. But anyways, where does this kind of leave us with the rest of training? Well, officially, I'm into the taper, which is awesome. As you saw, I think I don't even remember anymore, but I think I already flashed it up. But yeah, I did. So we're less than 3 weeks, officially less than 3 weeks. We're 2 weeks, 6 days, and plus some hours away from the marathon, which means we're officially into the taper. So the goal from here on in is kind of, one, maintain fitness. Do that by still running a decent amount of miles, particularly the next 2 weeks, right? We're still going to have solid mileage. The week before the marathon, drop off a lot more. The week leading into the marathon. So maintain fitness, maintain turnover in the legs. So this is going to be largely weather dependent. We have like a winter front coming through again. So as the roads are clear and as the temperature allows, strides, intervals, a little bit of tempo work, that sort of stuff, just to keep the legs turning over. Now, we're going to be doing a lot less of that than during the normal training block because we don't want to tire ourselves out, but we still need to do it just to keep the biomechanics of the body in tune, in sync. So maintain fitness, keep turnover. A big one is recovery of the body, like the legs and the body. So this just kind of happens naturally as you reduce mileage, as you reduce the quantity of intensity, not necessarily the level, but the quantity of high intensity. Your body's repairing itself, right? So keep going down that track. And the last one for me is really keep turning the screws down on the nutrition, right? Now, obviously, I could drink a bunch of water, be perfectly hydrated a week from today, and that's not going to help me because I would still be 2 weeks, right, away from the marathon. But it's about, like the already decent habits that I'm in now, it's about fine-tuning those and making those habits even better to carry me through the taper, right? To get to the line well hydrated, well fed, with good glycogen stores, and really just kind of, putting that high octane fuel into the body for good performance. So those are the 4 things we're really focusing on, at least in my mind, coming down the taper. Yeah, done with the 20 plus milers. I've already said that, but I'm really excited about that. And that was actually in my mind quite a bit today. And I was wanting a good one to end on, because last week, as you recall, was just miserable. It was 20 miles through 3 to 5 inches of snow. It was like between 9.5 and 10 minutes per mile. The heart rate was still kind of elevated because that's just tough trekking. So it was, I wanted a good one, and we got a good one to be excited about, right? Yeah, done with that. I think it goes down from 20 to 16 to 12. The next 2 weekends, so those are nice, and each of those we're going to try to keep the pace like right around 8 minutes or maybe a little bit better. The mileage continues to drop. We're really just kind of right there, which is pretty exciting. So trying out a new mic today. I don't know if it's going to be any better audio. I hope it is. And other than that, all I have to say is let's go Chiefs. I'll talk to you later. Hopefully the Chiefs, the United States men's national team, bring home W's today. Peace out. The Hinsdale train stop's got it going on. The Mexican restaurant in the train station.